Hello, hello, good morning. My name is Nick Kirpin. I am an instructor at New England Base Camp, and today I want to be teaching you all how to do some origami, the art of folding paper. So this helps with the Webelow Adventure Pin Art Explosion. One of the options is to display and create a collection of origami or kirigami pieces. And I want to share with you my favorite thing to make, which is a frog that is able to jump when you're done with it. So here is a quick spoiler of what it will look like at the end. Ooh, there he is. So an important part of the whole process is starting with a square sheet of paper, and you might be thinking, oh, I only have regular 8.5 by 11 paper lying around. That's no problem. I'm also going to show you an easy way to make any sheet of paper into a square sheet of paper very quickly. So let me get this set up. There we are. And here's my sheet of regular 8.5 by 11 paper. And I'm going to show you how to turn that into square. And then we're going to get started making the frogs. So to get started, what you want to do is you want to fold a triangle in the paper, lining the top edge up with the side edge. Fun math trivia. What we're doing is we're creating an isosceles triangle in that now this side here and this side here are the same size. And if I unfold that, this area here by itself is a square. All we have to do now is get rid of the little tail at the bottom, and you can do that either with scissors, or if you don't have those, you can actually fold that tail up, make a nice firm crease, and this is something you're actually going to want to do when you're doing the folding in the origami anyways. Practice using the side of your finger or a pencil or something to get a nice strong crease, and that should let us make a pretty clean edge. There we are, and now we're left with a square sheet of paper, and we're ready to begin. So I have the steps sort of here in order so that as we go along, people can see where we're at. And we're going to start really simply by taking our sheet of paper and folding it in half. I would say the direction matters, but since it's a square, it isn't that big of a deal. My one recommendation is if you fold it so that our diagonal crease is going this way, it will help out marginally in a step down the road. Again, for the crease, you want to make sure your corners are lined up. That's going to be our starting point. And then you're going to firmly press down the length of the paper to get a nice tight crease. It will make everything else so much simpler. Moving on to our next step, we're just going to make this X shape on the top of the paper. And the way we do that, we've already practiced. We're going to take the top edge, bring it along, line it up with the side, and fold that. Then unfold and do the exact opposite. We're going to take now this corner, follow it along all the way to this side. Nice strong crease. And what we're left with is this X shape, which will make our next step, which is possibly the second hardest piece of the frog, much simpler. So to take a look at this, our next step is going to be to fold in the sides of this triangle to create this kind of X-wing shape 3D thing. And the way we can do this, there are a couple ways. The easiest I found is to take the X that you folded and just try and line up the edges. You're left now with this triangle. Same thing, you're going to pinch that in, and you're going to line up the top and the middle, firmly crease here. In doing this, you've basically taken your 2D sheet of paper and flattened the middle of that X to create this shape. Another way to do it, if that wasn't the easiest to follow, is you can pinch the middle of the X's, and that will get you to the same end result. So now we're here. The next part of this is quite straightforward. We're going to make his front legs, and we're going to start getting our frog to be the right size for the end of the project. To make the front legs, all you're going to do is take the corner and fold it straight up. We're not going to fold it into the middle. Instead, we're just going to pinch the middle and fold it straight up. And what you're going to find out is it's going to look kind of like a horned helmet. We could stop this at the end of the next step and we'd be left with a little samurai helmet. But we have more ambition than that. We're going to go all the way to frog. And once we've done this, the next step is to simply fold the bottom in half right up to the line. Here we go. And now, as I said, this right here on its own would be a little samurai hat. But that's not good enough. We want to do more. And so our next step is going to be folding the sides in just like you were making a paper airplane. So take this. Again, you might want to not worry about this flap here because you're going to be folding right up under it. And you're going to fold the edge of the paper into the middle. Nice tight crease on both sides. It is important here that we get this as straight as possible and as neat, because the next step coming up is possibly the hardest thing we're going to have to do in this project. And the tighter the folds, the better. The next thing we're going to do is to pull these corners up and out. Notice here I'm using lined paper. This makes it easy to make sure I'm going at a 90-degree angle. Just like that on both sides. And you'll see this sort of looks like a box, two 90-degree angles. And the hard part is we need to now fold this corner into this corner so that they overlap, like so. This is where, if you remember way back at the beginning, I mentioned the way the diagonal line is facing matters. It will help you very slightly to collapse the bottom legs out if you've done that. So again, I'm going to start here. We're going to take this corner and pull it all the way up so that the edge is at a 90-degree angle with the bottom of his head and legs. And we're just going to overlap that edge while doing the same thing to the other side. if you're watching and you just can't figure this step out, practice it a bunch, but I can also at the end show you a way of making a slightly less realistic looking frog that skips this step. So moving on, the next thing we need to do is create some definition in his back legs. And we're going to do that by taking this and just folding it straight back down. And now you'll notice he has two separate legs. We're going to do a similar thing to making his front legs to make his back ones. We're going to take the ends and we're going to fold them straight sideways. We're not going to fold them up. We're just going to turn them out sideways to give him tiny little back feet, just like so. And here, we're almost done. To make the frog able to jump, what we need to do is we need to make a lower body that folds in on itself, kind of like an accordion, so that when it presses down and compresses, it works like a spring. And when you release, he's going places. And the way we do this is not too hard. You just want to make sure that we don't fold too much. We're going to go up to that middle, and we're going to try and find half of that and bring it back down. Again, it will look kind of like a Z if we've done that. And in a perfect world, which we can all strive to live in, you're going to overlap that so that the edge of the paper here and the middle of the Z are on top of each other. This is going to be what gives him the best ability to jump. If it's too far forwards like that, he's going to kind of just hop very slightly instead of having a nice high jump. So there we have it. You'll notice we have that crease there. He has his little back feet. He has his front feet, his head. If you really want to, and I don't know why you wouldn't, you can personalize him, draw some eyes on there. Maybe write your name if you're going to have some sort of frog race or time trial so that you know who's what where. And now I'm going to show you how to get him to jump. By pressing down on his back and folding it over his legs. Again, it's like tightening a spring. To release, all you want to do is slide your hand back without accidentally stepping on his toes. Because if we slide our hand back and we go there, nothing good is going to happen. So this takes some practice. Collapse him, and now just quickly scoot your hand back and off. And that helps him jump. The smaller and stiffer the paper, this is why having a origami paper or even using an index card can be helpful. The more powerful the spring's going to be, meaning he's going to be able to jump higher, stronger, further. Let's see if I can get a good showing there. Nope. Well, this is the problem with doing it live, is sometimes it's hard. There we are. And there you have it. If you want to, you can set up a little obstacle course for him at home. See how far you can get him to jump, how high you can get him to jump, and see if you can get him to do tricks. By pressing down in other places, you can actually get them to do turns or backflips. But I said I was going to show us how to complete the frog if you can't figure out folding out the bottom section. So what you can do here is actually just skip that step, go forwards and backwards to create that Z, and you have a much simpler but a much less powerful jump. So again, if we can compare that, because there's less stiffness here, there's one less layer of folding, you don't get quite as much power from the frog without his back feet. So, there we have it. This is Nick Kirpin from New England Base Camp talking about making origami frogs for Art Explosion, a Weeblo adventure, and also because it's fun to make things, especially toys that move. So, there you have it. Thank you for watching. And again, if you are following along doing this at home and you create a frog that you're proud of, feel free to take a picture, share it, tag Spirit of Adventure Council or New England Base Camp. Let us see the hard work that you guys put into it. Thank you very much. That's all I have for today. Stay safe. Have a great day. Bye.